everyone, welcome back to Motion RC Live. I'm James, and I'm not live for this, the 27th episode of our weekly live show 2021, which is actually exactly half of the year. This is like the mid-year report, I guess, if you will, and Alpha is going to take over the show today. He's got a special guest. He'll run through the community. Normal show as always, and it will cut to me at some point where I have pre-recorded our winner. We chose it, I guess, yesterday for you if you're watching this, Thursday for me. It's the day before you're watching this. We picked our winner, we spin the wheel, and that's going to pop up randomly in this show. So guys, I will see you all live here again next week for episode 28, but for now I'm going to pass it over to Alpha with a special guest and the rest of the show. Bye guys.
Welcome to the show, everyone, RC pilots, drivers, and boat captains around the world. My name is Alpha, and today we are so excited to introduce you to a new team member of ours, the Ayatollah of Remote Controller, Motion RC's Surface Product Manager, Bill Jerich. Bill, please tell us a bit about yourself.
Good morning, Alpha, and thanks so much for having me this morning. I'd like to say hello to everybody watching and around the world this morning on the Motion RC YouTube channel. As Alpha said, my name is Bill Jerich, and I am just immensely proud to be a member of the Motion RC leadership team. My specialty is surface, and have been in this category of product, honestly, almost my whole adult life. A little bit about myself. I started a hobby shop in my hometown, a suburb of Cleveland, Ohio, and eventually built it up to 3 stores. I sold that business and then entered the other side of the industry, so to speak, in manufacturing, distribution, and product development. Just a quick aside about how that came to pass is there was a local manufacturer in the Cleveland area who used to come by my hobby shop and ask my opinion about the potential viability of the products that he was showing me. Hey, I got this sample from this vendor in Hong Kong or Taiwan or what have you. Do you think that it would sell? And I was fortunate enough that I gave him good information, helped him make some very successful products. And he had told me one day, he said, you know, Bill, if you ever get out of the retail business, I'd love to hire you in manufacturing and product development. And so it started in 1986. I went to work for a company called Parma International in a suburb of Cleveland, Ohio. And during the next 40 years, I've been fortunate to work for companies everywhere from very small startups, representatives of Asian companies. I've also been blessed to work for Hobbyco and for Horizon, 2 of the largest companies in our industry. And I just have very much enjoyed the ability to make friends around the world, to execute and to express my passion for radio control products, and I'm a consumer. I love it. I use it every day. I enjoy it. I have since I'm a child. And I think what makes me a little bit different, Alpha, is just the fact that unlike many people that you've met in our industry, sometimes product development people want to create or develop only what they want to buy. I've been blessed for whatever reason to have a fairly good understanding of what the market wants to buy. And so therefore that's the kind of mindset that I use when looking for products and helping both manufacturers and all of the people through the value chain create a product that ultimately the consumers in our industry would like. I personally
I know that our audience would really appreciate that side of you, Bill. It's something that resonated with me when we first began talking, because you understand as a driver what other drivers want, and that's a big part of what has made Motion RC successful, I think, is because we're very diligent in asking what people want and cross-referencing that with our own sort of heart and our own mindsets. So tell us a bit about, as we look through some of these photos, tell us a bit of the background behind some of these photos. I'm looking at an F1 pit. I need to know a bit more about that.
Well, Alpha, I'm an automotive geek through and through, whether it be full size or whether it be radio control. I'm very passionate about full-scale racing. I love Formula One. In 2019, I was blessed that my son and I were able to attend the Canadian Grand Prix up in Montreal and have kind of a VIP experience where we got to meet many of the drivers, got to visit the pits. We got garage tours and things, and it was something that will always be on my bucket list, being able to share it with my son, who is a big Ferrari fan. I personally am a Mercedes fan, but we went and saw an amazing race in a iconic track in a beautiful city of Montreal, and it's just something that I'll never forget. So we were fortunate enough to take that picture of Sebastian Vettel when he was driving for Ferrari. That's his pit there as they're preparing his car for practice.
Any chance that we're going to see an F1 machine come to Motion RC, Bill?
Well, Alpha, I love Formula One. I love racing RC Formula One, but it is a niche, a very, very small niche. If the opportunity ever arises, I would very much enjoy doing that. But where we are in our company at the moment, as we all know, they're moving toward becoming more credible in surface and providing more products to our customers that they and their families enjoy. There's just many more greater opportunities for making people happy than dealing in the smaller numbers of RC Formula One. But I never say never. I have learned in my career never to say never.
So you're saying there's a chance.
I'm saying there's a chance, exactly.
There are a few comments already coming through. I'm looking at Wine Country RC. Bill, if you're comfortable, you are in California. I know that Wine Country RC is located there as well. And yes, Air Guardian, our guest from our show 2 weeks ago, he made a comment that in 1986, when you got started, Bill, Air Guardian wasn't even born yet. So you've had quite quite a career, one would say. What are some of your favorites, things that you've encountered along the way, things you've flown or driven or put onto the water, either as a consumer or as a product development officiator?
I'm going to take this answer in a little bit different direction, Alpha. I think for me, how lucky can a person be that, a wise man once said that if you do what you love for a living, you never work a day in your life. And I never have. I've been so fortunate we work in an industry that sells enjoyment and happiness. Therefore, I think we're held to a little bit higher standard by our customers. We're not selling them gasoline or groceries or replacement tires for their automobile that they have to buy. They are spending their discretionary income on products that we are making for them. Therefore, we are held to a much higher standard. And I enjoy being held to that higher standard and giving people value for what it is that they want to buy. But more even and more importantly than that has been the relationships that I've been able to make in my career around the world. I am lucky enough that I could basically pick up the phone or pick up anyone, a WeChat or Skype or any of our communication devices. And almost in every country of the world, I'll know somebody through the hobby industry. And those relationships, those human contacts that were simply executed through the business of radio control, to me, that's really the blessing, is the people I've gotten to meet. I started as a pilot. I started in what was called Pattern before it was called F3A now. I flew Pattern back in the day when it was screaming Rossies and Super Tiger engines going back and forth from right to left at 180 miles an hour, where now, of course, it's all turnaround in a box. But I was fortunate enough to be able to come in second in the AMA Nationals in 1980. And then guys would be bringing RC cars to the contest, and we'd play in the hotel parking lot at night. And that's how I got introduced to RC cars. And this is like 1980-ish, when they were very Tinker Toy compared to where they are today. But forgive my long-winded answer, Alpha. That's kind of what I believe is the thing I'm most grateful for, is the relationships and the friendships that I've been able to make around the world and appreciate people from different countries and cultures, all under the auspices of enjoying radio control.
Right, the man with the plan and the right mindset, Bill. To those of you listening, you can see why Bill, I think, is such an important add to the leadership team here at Motion RC to be a product manager in a category where Motion RC is moving with intent and speed. Let's talk for a minute, Bill, about all the projects you're working on. This has been quite a year for Motion RC. We've onboarded dozens of new products under a host of new brands across a variety of categories, from hundreds upon hundreds of new accessories under Benchcraft into premier lines like Tamiya and Kyosho. Tell us a bit about what you've been working on and what customers can expect to see from us in the near future.
Thanks so much, Alpha. Well, I joined Motion RC very early this year in 2021, and most of my work in coming up to speed and being a member of the company and the leadership team has been bringing across the finish line a lot of the things that you and our peers started for us during the pandemic time. So I feel very good about the new line of Toro tanks that we've just brought into Europe and the United States. And it's a big learning curve for me. Frankly, to our viewers and to you, as you know, I had no idea that such a sizable market exists worldwide as it does for radio control tanks. And so it has caused, what I love is, I'm an old dog, but I love to learn new tricks. And learning about the high-end tank market and the passion that those users exhibit for that category and the interactivity of that product and the camaraderie of the RC tank battles is amazing. So we've got a lot of cool stuff in tanks. Another new category for me is construction equipment, bulldozers, front end loaders, cranes, and that is so cool because it can all be melded together. We can have tank battles. We can have a construction site component to that. When you think about semi trucks and loaders and excavators, you can make an entire scale working construction site with everything from material delivery to construction done by radio control. And I just find that fascinating. So we've got that coming. And that's all before we start to talk about traditional RC cars, like those you may see on the screen now from XK. And we offer product from Kyosho. We offer product from Tamiya. I have many things in the, shall we say, the kettle that we can't yet make public, that those who are interested in Surface will be delighted to hear about and excited to be able to buy from Motion RC. So those are just some of the things that are going on behind the scenes, a very, very, very small peek of what we have cooking.
You've been a major part of bringing many popular products to the RC world, as you've mentioned in your extensive career, Bill. So off the record, not that anyone's listening to us, what are some of your quote unquote unicorn products that you'd love to see come to Motion RC?
Alpha, I was blessed enough to work on the Pro Boat Miss Budweiser Unlimited Hydroplane program when we did the little 12 scale in Pro Boat, and then the big Zenoa powered 8th scale Miss Budweiser hydroplane.
Gorgeous.
If I were asked to make a unicorn product, something that I want to buy only, I would love to have a turbine powered 8th scale unlimited hydroplane. I just think that would be the schniz. And I would take that out to a local lake and just terrorize everybody.
I love it. Now, what size, so a 1/8 scale, what size turbine are we talking? Is that like a P60, a K45, P80? Are you going to do 200? These are geared, I understand, correct?
Yeah, I think the ones that people have scratch built, I think have mostly been around the P80 size. I have seen some things out on the internet, of course, on YouTube and such other places, where some people have stuffed some really dangerously large turbines into a model boat. I don't think that's necessary. Why go 70 miles an hour at 10% throttle? I would rather do 80 miles an hour at 75% throttle and save the fuel and the weight and the heat.
Understood. Um, so a couple of comments here. Wine Country RC is asking about a military hovercraft, and I love that idea, by the way. Most of the tanks, as you mentioned, that we're bringing in from Toro, also Henlong and Tamiya as a sector standard scale is 116. So preliminarily, I know some of us on Hobby Squawk have crunched the numbers on how large a lander would be. You see any possibility of that happening?
I do, Alpha, as technology improves. I've witnessed and tested many different radio control hovercrafts through the years, and to those viewers of a certain age, I can assure you that 20 or 30 years ago, the attempts at RC hovercraft were pretty tinker toy. Honestly speaking, they've gotten better, but they're still not awesome. I have not yet ever operated an RC hovercraft that I would be willing to put my or our name on. Although I do see progress, I do see opportunities, but the technology is still going to be a little bit away yet, because the magic of having that hovercraft develop that air and to create that correct seal on all different kinds of surfaces. You needed to do it on water, linoleum, asphalt, hardwood basketball floor, concrete driveway. It's very challenging to make that work so far. So it's something I'd love to do, but kind of a long-term project.
Sure, sure. What about a turbine dragster? Top Dog RC in the comments is asking, have you ever done a feasibility study on what that would take?
We have. There's a group of guys in the Brooklyn, New York area who are big, big, big nitro drag racers. Drag racing is a very popular category of radio control right now, but it's all electric. However, before this occurred, there is a passionate and very technologically advanced group of guys in Brooklyn, New York that run nitro drag racing. And these guys are doing crazy, crazy things. And I believe a couple of them have built turbines. I've only seen it in pictures and in media reports. I've never seen one run personally, but oh my goodness, that would be amazing.
I would need to have an LCAC, a couple of Abrams rolling off of it. We already have the landing craft and Benchcraft, right? We have the LCM-3 that was deployed during World War II. So the concept of landing armor onto a beachhead already exists with those types of vehicles. So bring it into the modern era with what hovercrafts are doing, I think that would be super exciting. As you mentioned, Bill, a lot of these projects we're talking about, guys, and a lot of the things people are already asking us about in chat are future projects. These are big ideas. These are unicorn type things. Let's shift gears and talk to us a bit about some of the things newer drivers might want to get into. As you know, many of our customers at Motion RC around the world are RC pilots. But for any of them thinking about getting into RC driving, based on your 30, 40 years of experience, what models and methods would you recommend they start with?
Gosh, that's a great question. And yes, I know the majority of our viewers today are air-centric, so to speak, but so was I. I was a flyer who was attracted to RC cars because of the uniqueness of it. I would encourage you, if you're interested in trying RC cars, to consider what type of activity interests you. It's much like airplanes. Do you want to be a jet fighter pilot, or do you want to be a World War I ace? That will determine what kind of aircraft that you fly. Much in the same way with cars. Do you want to be an IndyCar driver? Do you want to be a competitor in the Baja 1000? Do you wish to race at Daytona? Do you wish to go crawling in Moab, Utah? Whatever you enjoy, chances are very good there's a category of radio control surface that'll allow you to do that. If you just want to get your feet wet, I would strongly encourage you to go to our website and take a look at the XK line of product. incredibly durable, very reasonably priced. And what I love about these products, and there's one right here that I have in front of me, our buggy, they are an incredible value for the amount of money that you spend, for the performance and durability that you receive. I believe any air guy wanting to dip their toe in the surface water would be very, very well served to try one of our XK products. If they love that, the sky is the limit on where to go. Easy to spend a lot more money, get a lot bigger, get a lot more complex. But if you're not sure, XK would be a great brand to try.
Yeah, I like that answer. Jolly Pirate in the comments here is saying that he's a basher for sure. I think it's fair to say that many of newer drivers, we are all sort of bashers. We're learning to drive. We're practicing Rockford turns. We're experimenting with how high a ramp can we get off. We're learning torque and whatnot. And I agree that XKs are great models for the price point to get into and see. A lot of people are also mentioning in comments how obviously with the airplane world, you're daring, I like to say it, that you're essentially putting your wallet in the sky and daring it to come down 3 minutes at a time. The advantage of surface is gravity will never kill your bird, as it were. Again, maybe unless you're jumping off of a massive ramp. But what would you say to some of the people asking for smaller boats? Shifting gears again now to Maritime. We've got this great Bancroft line. I noticed that you recently increased, built out more Bancroft products over the past month, introducing a new series of smaller scale speedboats and a few small sailboats. What are some good tips you could give to someone getting started in RC boats?
Excuse me, great question. First of all, I love boats. Just determine where you're going to run it. That is absolutely, in my opinion, the most important thing to making a good decision for an RC boat. If you've got a swimming pool in your backyard, we've got some great, what I call pool boats from Bancroft. There's a boat called, I believe, the Mini V and the Mini Cat. These are small 10-inch but very quick boats that a swimming pool is the perfect venue to run them in. If you're lucky enough to have a local pond or blessed to have a big lake, oh gosh, if you've got a big lake, get one of those big Alpha 40-inch speedboats that run on 3S LiPo packs. It'll go close to 50 miles an hour. That's a real rush. But it all depends. You can't go wrong. If you're interested in speed, it's more of a matter of where you can use your product. If you're interested in scale, of course, Bancroft has a very, very extensive line. A little hard to get right now due to COVID manufacturing issues, but we make those beautiful scale warships, the Fletcher, the Arleigh Burke, the Missouri, that are museum scale quality product that also happen to be great radio control boats. Or if you like to sail, again, choose the size of boat that is applicable to the size of water or body of water that you'll be able to use it on. Sailing is so relaxing on a nice 10-mile-an-hour breeze evening. Set up a lawn chair on the bank, sit down, have your favorite soda or adult beverage, and just spend a half hour or an hour just sailing your boat around and learning, the simple joys of harnessing the power of the wind and getting
Right.
out in front of it is just beautiful.
I
I
do
can get
love
as
sailing as well. I
yeah.
mean, it's so relaxing. It's sort of the thermaling of the surface world. There are a
Thank
few
you.
people asking. I know Ignacio. I know you're looking for that Udaloy, my friend. Mark Parsons is asking. He would love to see a large-scale tugboat, working lights, winch, those types of things. We've seen, for example, with the Bancroft LCM3. This playability factor, right, where it has a loading ramp that drops and you can deploy your tank out of it. What are some of the things that you're working on to bring lights and sound and smoke to some of these ships that we're talking about?
Well, and thank you for asking, and that's a very key thing because I believe strongly in the ecosystem approach. I like the ability to use disparate products together, as you articulated. The landing craft with the tank with the radio controlled bow bridge that comes down, so you could drive your tank onto the beach, and you have lights and sound and smoke and realistic effects to be able to essentially recreate reality in miniature. That and don't take this, viewers, disparagingly, but when you think about scale enthusiasts, and in the RC car space, that would be the crawler group or the scalar group. I like to call it dollhouse furniture for men. We love scale, we love reality, we love precision, we love realism, and we're expressing that through the miniature aircraft or boats or cars that we're creating that we love for a hobby.
I love it. Victor Victor Cheksinko, a friend of ours, he says, Bill's voice is epic. I want Motion RC to include an audio file of Bill reading the instruction manual. I need
Thanks,
to agree
Victor.
with you,
Thank
Vic.
you, Victor.
You were talking about a funny story on how you had heard, I believe it was, sort of like a car announcer. Is that what it was? Can you give us a taste, Bill?
Alpha, there was, when I was growing up in a suburb of Cleveland, Ohio, there was a local drag strip. And I believe this was a nationally syndicated voiceover artist who used to do the commercials for all of these drag strips and racetracks. And it was something that I've never forgotten. And I mean, I first heard it when I was like 6 years old. And if you'll forgive me and allow me the ability, it was something to the effect of like, Sunday, 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 beautiful Thompson Drag Raceway. See the 300-mile-an-hour jet-powered dragster. That kind of stuff. So that just
I
always
love it.
kind of stuck with me.
Everyone, you need to like, share, and subscribe. For members only, we may do something like that. Where Bill, we may need to have you pre-record a voicemail for someone, or
Yeah, or
or
if
do
they
an audiobook on one of our manuals.
Alpha, what is it that they call? Isn't there some service where you can have celebrities do like greetings for you or that? We should offer that as a product through Motion or RC, that I will be the voiceover for either their voicemail message or something else that they might like. I'd be happy to do that. We could offer it as a product or maybe a prize.
That'd be amazing. The next time, we do need to make that happen, guys. So again, comment below if you think that's something we should play with. I believe it's Cameo. That is the website that does that. Another good friend of the channel, RC Jet Dude, or should we say RC Wet Dude, recently published a video on his YouTube channel about the Mad Flow. It's a new Bancroft Mad Flow V4. It's a tunnel hull, and I noticed
Mhm.
Tony and a few of the other people in comments mentioned tunnel hulls. Is there any chance we get something larger, something bigger in that specific format? Because for me, I love racing them. They're incredibly stable. The one that we've brought in is stable at almost all speeds and great for racing, great for, like you were talking about earlier, getting people together, finding a pond and getting that out there and having fun. For some of us more advanced drivers, we want something bigger. Are there any constraints as a product developer that you're conscious of as you begin scaling things up? I know that typically on the air side, we're conscious of cost, we're conscious of things like box size. What other types of things would you as a developer need to consider to make something larger and stay stable and price efficient?
Well, what you just mentioned is the key, Alpha, the price efficiency, because once you reach a certain hull length, you can no longer do blow molding or mold it at all. It actually has to be a fiberglass hull. And once you get up into hand-laid fiberglass, of course, we run into dollars. But there's really not, I've actually seen people, I've seen some scratch-built quarter-scale tunnel hulls, which we're talking 4.5, 5 foot long tunnel holes here in model form. So the performance, the stability, that's not an issue. The issue is getting the cost value performance ratio aligned perfectly so that people would want to buy it. Technically, it's very possible. It's just a matter of executing it at a reasonable price, at a reasonable price that people would want to buy.
Yeah, absolutely. For anyone listening in, remember, hobbysquawk.com is going to be the place where you'll want to engage Bill in the same way that there are many What's Next alpha threads for the air side. We're really transitioning, guys. Bill's my counterpart on the surface side, so please feel free to bother him and, and blast him with all of your requests, your ideas, because as I hope you can all hear, Bill has the mindset, he has the aptitude, and he has the passion to really be able to move products like this through their development process and make sure that by the time you get them, they're what you want at the price you wanted to pay, doing the things you wanted them to do. A couple of other things people are asking about. I don't think we're going to be able to do Cameo, Bill, because as Air Marshal rightly pointed out, I don't think you're going to be able to do your primary job, friend, if you're constantly recording voiceover messages. It seems
The boss might
we
not
may have
like that.
opened
Sorry about it.
up right, we may have opened up a can of worms there, but in any case, I think it's plain to see everyone that we've got a lot of potential here in the future, which is why you could probably hear it. We're just so excited to have them. Tony Accurso is asking, is there any chance for electric or glow airboats? So we were talking about geared systems earlier. What about just a standard airboat setup?
You know, I've only developed one, and when you say airboat, I assume you mean like a swamp buggy, like those
Yeah, like
used
a flat
in
hull.
like swamp people, so to speak, for lack of a better term, with the big shroud around it, with the big fan in back. And I
Yes.
believe that is something that I believe has merit. Several companies have done them in various sizes, but I believe there's an opportunity. How soon, I'm not sure, but I think there would be a great opportunity just for its versatility. Think about it, Alpha. You could run it on wet grass, you could run it on ice or snow, you could run it on water. Call it an
Amphibious.
airboat or a swamp buggy is really kind of an amphibious type of product. And I think it's one that would have wide appeal if the right product was made. So I would just like to encourage our viewers, as Alpha said, I have had I have been very fortunate to be able to make relationships and make great products based on a lot of great feedback from a lot of great people. No idea is dumb. We might sift through 1,000 ideas, and if two or three of them turn into successful products, it's a worthwhile exercise, guys. So, at the lack of a few keystrokes, I pride myself on being responsive to the market. And if you have an idea or a comment, constructive criticism, I'm open to listen to it because that's what makes me better. We Alpha and I and our team, we don't live in an ivory tower and dictate what the market wants like some other companies might. We prefer to provide what the market asks for. So ask for it and you'll get answers.
Absolutely. In the comments, friends, and at hobbysquawk.com, you heard it from Bill himself. Just ask. Victor, challenge accepted. Knowing you, my friend, I do not put that past you. I know that you will ask. People are asking, I'm seeing Air Guardian here asking about a hydrofoil. So, guys, there are a lot of, as we've already seen in this short time, there are a lot of great ideas. So many areas where Motion RC can bring its expertise and really leverage the creation of great products. A hydrofoil is one of those things Bill and I have actually been talking about. It marries the aerodynamic principles that I'm very familiar with on the air side and puts that underneath the hull of a boat. So all I'll say there is if you let us know, as Bill said, what you're looking for, it better helps us to divert our energies to try and make that happen. So very exciting stuff. Shifting gears for a bit, Bill, I have to ask you, as we've built our relationship over the past several months and just continuing to learn from each other, as has been so gratifying for me, one of the similarities we share is that we've both been to Asia, and I live in Asia. You've been here a lot. How, for our audience listening, how does that hands-on approach that you've done over the years made your results better?
That's a very important point, Alpha, and I appreciate you asking about that. And one of the things that sets us as Motion RC, aside from our competitors or many of our competitors in the industry, is that we actually visit, create, collaborate in person with the people making our products. As many of us know, it's possible to do business in today's day and age, never meeting the people who you do business with. It can all be done transactionally through email and through electronic means. But being old school, I feel there is nothing that is more productive than the ability to look someone of a different culture and race residing in a different country, look them in the eye and communicate the necessary things that you wish to give them and receive back from them in return to make a successful business transaction. And the fact that I'm proud to say that some of the people that I've been proud and privileged to know in Asia, I've got friends there that now their children who I watched when they were born are now running the companies for their parents. And now I am dealing with the children of the people that I had originally met. And I love that. I just love the interpersonal part of business. And I feel as a society and as a world, we're getting away from that a little bit. And I love the ability to look someone in the eye and talk business. And I think that's successful. And that's why going to Asia and being a good partner to our factories is what sets us apart from some other companies in our industry.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. As a recently minted grandfather, speaking of this importance of a family connection, what would you say to other fathers and grandfathers whose children and grandchildren are thinking about trying RC? Whether they be I know that you recently became a grandfather, your new grandson, or that child of that person, as you just described, who you've been working with for decades in the industry, and now they have a little cub uh, who is new to the world.
That's a really deep and a good question. And let me take a second and tell you why I'm passionate about hobbies for kids. Fortunately, my sons grew up watching me thrash on RC cars and airplanes. So in that, they learned how to use hand tools. They learned how to use wrenches, screwdrivers, the things that most of us men of a certain age know how to use. I'm frankly a little intimidated at the amount of young people today who don't know how to use basic tools. And I believe strongly that hobbies we can use as a means for STEM education. Airplanes teach aerodynamics, engineering, mechanics, so many things in science, mathematics, engineering, construction even, of how materials work together. I just feel very, very strongly that hobbies are an educational activity if we want them to be for young people. And I want our young people to be able to use hobbies as a vehicle, pardon the pun, to be able to become mechanically competent. So that if the washer wears out on their faucet in their bathroom sink, they don't have to call a plumber to replace it. And they might actually even have the screwdriver in their RC car toolbox to do so. So I feel strongly about about hobbies in general as an educational component, and that's something that I'm really, really striving to do in my daily work.
I agree. And if all else fails, they can always tow that broken washer outside with their 1/6 scale tank and shoot at it with our A10.
There you go.
Um, all right, Bill. Everyone blowing up the comments. We're talking about the Chronoplan and a few other aircraft and ideas. So, guys, again, I want to remind you, please go to Hobby Squawk. I've yet to see that specific bird, Caspian Sea Monster, in Hobby Squawk, but that is one of those models that would sort of sit astride what I do on the air side and what Bill will be doing on the surface side. So let us know, drop the pictures in there for people who are not familiar with that aircraft, essentially a ground effect seaplane Delta aircraft that is completely doable. It is one of those things where if and when we saw that type of excitement, and as Bill said, people asked for it, it would tick higher on our to-do list. cartoony jets. What else are people asking for? There are so many different things. Paul Bassett, I want to shout you out as well. I know that you and Glenn work together in teaching. We had Glenn on the show 3 weeks ago in using models to teach people, teach them aerodynamics, as you mentioned, Bill, teaching them basics, what we would consider basic skill sets, handiness with tools. To me, it's about troubleshooting. It is about critical thinking, solving problems,
Following
communicating with
directions.
people. Exactly, following direct. What are those? Being able to go from an idea to something that is complete. Bill, one of the things I'm excited to do with you is being able to walk people through some of our factory partners. It's something we've done with Freewing. And again, if you guys listening are interested, that is a capability that we would love to bring to show you a bit behind the scenes at, for example, Toro or at Bancroft. What are the factories that Bill is working on doing to bring you the latest and greatest? I think a lot of people may be surprised to see what goes on behind those scenes and how there are similarities to what we do at, for example, say Freewing or one of our Skynetic factory partners compared to what we're doing at Bancroft, at XK, etc. They're pretty exciting things coming down the pipe. Bill, did you have anything else to say? As the
Indeed, I do.
Ayatollah of remote controller?
Yes, it has. It has been a distinct and a unique pleasure to spend time with our viewers today. I appreciate you taking the time to want to know where I came from and where I hope to be going, and I'm just extremely grateful to be a member of the Motion RC leadership team, and I love the fact of how close we are with our customers. The fact that we truly are a community, and as I wrap up my career and hope that I can provide a legacy and value to Motion RC prior to retirement, I am just grateful and enormously excited about what the next years are going to bring to both us and our customers.
And I too, Bill, we're elated to have you as part of the team. You've already shown all that you can do, and I hope this little snapshot, everyone, of hearing the man himself gives us all the confidence that Motion RC is going to continue to grow. We have airplanes coming of all shapes and sizes, in foam, in balsa, in other types of materials. We've got helicopters. We just restocked Robon over the past couple of days. Most of those have already sold out. So, and in addition, we're onboarding about a dozen containers right now. So my point being, guys, Bill is part of this vessel called Motion RC, which is completely oriented into bringing to the customer and bringing to people new to RC period, the notion that it doesn't need to be difficult. You don't need to be alone. You're not odd for liking the things you like and wanting to fly or drive or sail the things you want, but that you are amongst family. So Bill is a part of ours, as all of you are a part of Motion RC's family, and we want to take a moment to thank you, Bill, and thanks everyone for participating thus far. Now, let's shift gears a bit. We're going to go back to James for this week's sub spin and win. So everyone sit tight for that. Here we go.
Congratulations to Roderick James Riddick. You are this week's winner of the Sub Spin and Win. Remember, after I spin the wheel, you got to email contest@motionrc.com to claim your prize. But here we go. We're ready for the wheel. Let's spin it. Oh, $100 gift card to Roderick James Riddick. Congratulations. Again, the screen here will show you. You got to email us by next Friday at contest@motionrc.com to claim your prize. So that'll do it.
So thank you again to our winner this week. Remember, you have 1 week to contact us. Please do so at Motion RC, and the instructions are there in the description below. Last week we had a bit of a blowout subspin and win. Guys, I want to remind each of you to continue to spread the word. That wheel and its value will continue to grow as we grow our membership and grow our subscriber base. So the more friends you tell to click that button down below, the greater value of prizes. And we love it, by the way. For anyone wondering, I happened to be on Dave Marshall's live stream a couple days ago, and as we know, the Air Marshal procked a massive win for Ignacio, winning the Old Crow last week. He had made the comment, I hope it wasn't too much, but no, we want to remind everyone we love this stuff. We love the type of engagement, as you were talking about, Bill. This is all good stuff. So
That
speaking
was
of
amazing.
community. Yeah, it really was amazing. Now, speaking of community, let's round it out, guys, with a quick walk around the international community at Motion RC. Let's look at some of the things that we have received from each of you on Facebook, on social media, Instagram, and there at Hobby Squawk. First, we're coming at the Freewing 90mm F18. This blew my mind. This tiger meat livery. I mean, gosh, Bill, it looks like it was
Gorgeous.
printed Lexan, right, on one of your vehicles. I mean, this is
Looks like a wrap. It doesn't look it doesn't look like a scheme. It looks like a wrap. It's so awesome looking.
It really does. I love how he did the Cagberg, and now he's got the tiger meat side by side. Plastic tail nozzles being painted up. So amazing. Also has, of course, LED afterburners, which seems to be an upgrade that a lot of people love these days. Really stellar work. Sanex up. Did one of those containers go straight to Hugh's house? I believe one of them did. So go to Hugh's house. This would be a great candidate, Bill. Speaking of liveries, we are going to be having another contest, everyone. So start working on your liveries, start contacting Callie, working on your paint, getting those Benchcraft airbrushes in there, and getting to work. I always want to shout out Chris at thercgeek.com. He makes excellent resin figures for pilots that fit a lot of our aircraft. So you want to start customizing. Love the star layout on this Avanti. This is the Freewing 80mm Avanti. Certainly high vis. What do you think, Bill?
Oh, absolutely. That would be an awesome paint scheme on a race car. The contrast is fantastic.
It would. Yeah, I mean, Bob McElroy, this is his Avanti, and you can tell he went through the care to make sure he could see that bird, which for a sport aircraft like the Avanti is important. Another F-18 taking a look at this one. What stood out to me here, this might sound silly, but as a scale enthusiast, this really gets me. It's the nose cone. The difference of color at the tip of the nose cone, that's a different material in the real aircraft, and that he went through to just paint that extra color. It looks color correct to me, really sort of ties in the rest of the model. So beautiful stuff. This model was from this is Dita Veronesi's bird, I do believe. And coming up, we're looking at JD Crow. I mean, JD Crow, another friend of the channel on Hobby Squawk. He's working on a functioning bomb bay for the Flightline 2-meter wingspan B-24 Liberator. One of those aircraft that when I developed it, we initially thought about putting in a bomb drop system. We're not able to at the price point we wanted, but we did the best we could in that the internal structure of that aircraft is molded in a way where the bulkheads of the foam model align with the bulkheads of the real model. So it looks like JD Crow is taken to task to make those very unique doors and trigger that bomb drop mech. Coming in hot, an L-39. Great photo of an L-39 with a sunset backdrop. This is Jeremy Stolt. Those of you familiar with Jeremy's work, gosh, it seems every aircraft he sends to us makes it onto the show. And a fantastic pass on an inverted F-16. I wonder how low to the ground he was. That looks low enough. I think he could be a bit lower. Bill, you ever fly inverted?
In a real airplane or a model?
Both.
Yes, yes to both. A buddy of mine has a two-place extra that he took me up in that was pretty fun, and he's a certified aerobatic pilot. But I'm just geeking out on the screen here. That gorgeous. I don't know if it's sunrise, sunset, whatever. The sun behind the clouds in that L-39, gorgeous,
Utah
just
sunset.
gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's all go to Jeremy's house. I do love the SCA camo scheme on this Freewing 80mm T-33. This bird was a repaint done by one of our customer community members. I believe it's Cherry on Vermilion something. We're gonna need to have you guys submit phonetic guide so we know how to pronounce your names out there. But love the SCA camo scheme. Very unique, very period. Reminds me a bit of a mohawk. Something like that. Maybe a tweet. But I do love the color scheme and the livery that he's got marked out for this bird. I don't believe you've flown the T-33 yet, Bill. Is that correct?
I have not had the opportunity to do that yet, Alpha, and I can't wait. I just love the way that aircraft, the way that aircraft simply looks menacing. It looks purposeful. It looks realistic. It's just beautiful the way it was done, and I personally would love to fly one of those in the near future. So
Me too.
I have a lot of opportunity, a lot of options available to me in the future, and fortunately live in a place where I can fly year round, and I know that's a blessing. So I
Well,
take it
after
as a
that, we'll
privilege.
pump up to this nice Su-35. This was a conversion. Yeah, this is a conversion where we went from a Su-35, which is obviously the non-canarded, to this looks like a Su-37.
Hmm.
Yeah, this is Rodney Muscard's conversion, and as you can see there, it is a functional canard conversion. I need to see in Hobby Squawk if he's posted his to-do, but this is an EPS model, nice and light. He was able to cut into it, the advantage of EPS foam being easy to modify and whatnot, and he's got functioning canards on that aircraft. Wonderful conversion by him. I think Air Guardian there in the comments would love to have one of those by Freewing. Wouldn't you? All right. So that's the wrap on Facebook, everyone. Let's jump into YouTube. We had a few great submissions this week from a few familiar faces. Starting off, of course. We'll see you later, Tony. Thanks for joining us. This is our walk around from Blades of Thunder. Give us an intro for Blades of Thunder, Bill.
This weekend at a local flying field, see your Blades of Thunder exciting, amazing RC helicopters to surprise, delight, and entertain everyone.
All right, Friday. Oh man, that is fantastic. So these are one of those fields and one of those events where I would love to just show up. I'm hoping one day I find my Mi-24 Hind, but you can see that there are people out there who absolutely love scale helicopters. I think of Michael Rosnick, good friend of Motion RC, Delta Dart, with what he's been able to do with scale helicopters. And there are so many of us out there who love this sort of thing. A Chinook, I'll throw that out there. Isn't that? I mean, the level of scale detail that they're able to execute on these things is just mind-blowing. Multi-bladed setups.
Is this out of the
Yeah,
UK?
I do believe they are.
Because the architecture looks British, so I was curious as to whether this was the UK or not. But it's just amazing scale helis. I love it.
Yeah, Blades of Thunder. We'll need to contact them and have them on the show. I think that'd be great. Toonami 20, I'm a big helicopter fan as well. Jumping into the next video, we have, this is Frode, RC Terpinator. I know you're out there in the comments. Great video that you posted earlier this week. For a moment when I first saw it, I thought you guys were doing RC combat trying to hit each other. and then I realize you're just chasing around. But perhaps a suggestion, my friend, adding a couple of tails, and let's try and do some RC combat with your jets there. Love this tight pass. Turning in on top of each other.
Snarling
this is
cauldron of dogfighting. I love what you're saying, though, Alpha. A couple streamers make things so much fun. Oh yeah, either that or a couple smoke bombs on the wingtips. One of the two to just make that visual eye candy so much more compelling.
Exactly. And I'm pretty sure our EDFs are built to ingest streamers of a certain size. I think it'd be all right. Don't quote me on that. And finally, we take the last. Yeah, don't use Mylar. Please don't use Mylar. It must be tissue. Let's move to the last video. This is another good friend of the channel. This is Chris at the RC Geek. Great YouTube channel. In fact, he and Corsair Nut posted a wonderful series of videos this week. Freewing aircraft. I think they had an HSD bird in there. Just a variety of airplanes. This video I've watched several times. This is the Freewing 80 millimeter MiG-29 Fulcrum. He made a point to note that he's flying this completely stock, and this is Brent Corsair Nut on the sticks, just demonstrating the aircraft better than I think most or anyone could, the range and flight envelope of that stock MiG-29. Love that they're out there in the desert as well. He's got slow passes, a wonderful inverted pullout. He's inducing flat spins, all stock. So great example from the community. But if you would like to see yourself on the show, remember, all you need to do is add us at MotionRC on Instagram, post on either of our social media platforms on YouTube or Facebook, or of course, go into hobbysquawk.com. Any number of the threads there, post what you're doing, whether it be photos, something you're working on, a really excellent crash, or a wonderful video. We'd love to have you featured here on the show. So with that, Bill, let's end with, I got one more question for you.
Sure.
Now, you've been RC pilots, we love a good crash story. What is the best, in other words, the worst, RC crash you've witnessed?
That I've witnessed or flown in? Witnessed? Let me start with witness. Let me start with witness, then I'll give you the flown in. Okay. Witnessed. I'm at the some of your viewers of a certain age might remember the old Tournament of Champions held out in Las Vegas that was sponsored by Circus Hotel. So we're talking late 90s. This was when turbines were still, I don't want to say in their infancy, but they were new. So, and this is before 2.4. So a pilot by the name of David Schulman is doing about a 240 mile an hour pass out in Las Vegas when his radio quits, gets glitched, whatever. And this F4 Phantom turbine model does a straight 90-degree figure L into the desert floor and explodes. And there was literally nothing larger left than a servo. Okay, that was a pretty, and of course it made a pretty significant fireball.
Great job, great fireball, great story.
What I was involved with is back in my in the Midwest, there used to be a series of aircraft races, quarter scale pylon races. A company named Bridey used to make a quarter scale Cosmic Wind. Again, people of a certain age might remember that. Was basically a Formula One aircraft, but it was about a 70, 80-inch wingspan, bigger aircraft, and we all flew them with 60s. And so we pylon raced them. A lot of fun. Until I was in a heat race and one of my competitors happened to be below me. I passed above him and he decided to pull straight vertical right when I was perfectly above him, and his aircraft essentially speared right through mine and rained balsa fiberglass foam and monocoat for minutes and minutes all over our field. And I brought my beautiful race aircraft home in a garbage bag that day. So that was my crash story for today.
Well, a like heart, as we can see, everyone. Bill is certainly cut from the same cloth, or the same balsa. What would it be? As so many of us here at Motion RC. Bill, again, I want to thank you for being a part of this show. We will see
Been an
much
honor.
more of you. Everyone, please be sure to like this video, comment below with what you think about our addition of Bill to the team. And again, please feel free to engage him at hobbysquawk.com in the coming time with any ideas you might have. He will be the man to bring our surface plan across the ball. And we are so very excited. Be sure to stay tuned next week. James will be back in studio we'll have another series of exciting announcements. And until then, happy flying, happy driving, happy sailing, and if you're going to crash, do it right.
Have a great weekend, everyone.